Did you know? Several different endings were discussed in the creation of Jurassic Park. The climax of the book had Grant use his knowledge of dinosaurs to fight 3 raptors using poison eggs, but this scene was not put on the table for the movie as it would have been seen as a slow ending. The ending of the movie was always going to take place in the lobby of the visitor center, as it was a location the audience remembered seeing nice and clean before the park shut down, but the lobby wasn't always going to look the way it did. The book had it where the visitors were greeted by a large animatronic T-Rex, but that idea was scrapped for the movie as the dinosaurs would mostly be shown on screen as animatronics.
Are these characters autoerotica?
No. We have no animatronics here. No.
The idea went from an animatronic dinosaur to a skeleton very quickly. Some of the earliest concept art shows the lobby having a stegosaurus skeleton with the children climbing into the ribcage to run from 3 raptors. Ultimately, the lobby did change to the one that we are all familiar with. The skeletons of a T-Rex and Alamosaurus fighting in mortal combat. The Alamosaurus is a species of sauropod dinosaur that lived in the same time and place as T-Rex, so it is possible that they may have fought in a similar way 70 million years ago. The first alternate ending can be found in the DVD extras. This original ending was going to have Grant use a rising platform to move away from a raptor, but then kill it by forcing it into the T-Rex skeleton, only for the group to then meet with another raptor. Right before the last raptor attacks, it is shot by Hammond. In the few seconds before the T-Rex enters the frame, you can see a rising platform, which is probably a regular prop, or it might be the missing platform of an ending the audience will never get to see. Some fans have said that there's another storyboard ending where Muldoon comes to save the day. There is no evidence for this ending, but this might just be a simple case of confusion, as the concept art of Hammond looks much more like the final version of Muldoon than it does Richard Attenborough. The final ending with the T-Rex coming into the visitor center was changed days before filming by director Steven Spielberg. He was convinced that the real star of the film was the T-Rex and was so impressed with the new work being done with CGI that he left the fate of the film's ending to the new technology. Many people have asked the question of how the T-Rex got into the visitor center. It's rumored that during the filming of the scene, Spielberg was asked that question, and he answered screen right, thinking the question was how the audience would see the animal and not so much how it physically got into the building. The answer of how she came into the building is the hole in the wall that Bridezilla came out of. This hole is often overlooked by the audience, but it is large enough for the T-Rex to walk through. The in-universe reason for this hole is up for debate amongst fans, from previous storm damage to the construction of a wheelchair ramp. You might have noticed that the hole inside this building doesn't appear on the outside. That's because there were 2 visitor centers built for the movie. The first one was built on location in Hawaii. This building was shown in only 2 scenes of the movie and was torn down after filming was completed. This building was just the exterior of the visitor center, which is why the front doors aren't open in any of these shots. The second building was built on a soundstage in Hollywood and was composed of the front doors of the visitor center and the lobby. The final scene of Jurassic Park was also the final scene shot, so the crew didn't have to clean up the visitor center after its destruction, which meant that this last-minute change to the scene was made long after the visitor center in Hawaii was torn down, and no exterior reshoot could be made. A small but strange rumor persists on the internet that the original theatrical version of the film shows the T-Rex physically breaking through a wall to save the day, and all home editions of the film were edited to show the new ending, similar to the way that the Star Wars films were altered. There are only first-person accounts of this scene, but the idea seems likely to some, as George Lucas was the supervisor during post-production. But this myth was squashed when Steve Spaz Williams, an employee of ILM during the time of Jurassic Park, stated on his Vimeo channel, "We never did a shot where we see the Rex enter the rotunda area." The statement is probably not a studio cover-up, as Williams had retired from Hollywood years before making this statement. We also have statements that the film was edited into place before CGI was added to the movie.
And when I was happy with the picture, I locked the print. I literally said, this is a lock, this is the movie. No more changes are done to it, and I turned it over to the post-production group.
The final ending of the film has the T-Rex come in with the Jurassic Park theme song, making her the hero. But there is one final alternate ending that can be found in the film's soundtrack. Under the track T-Rex Rescue and Finale, you can hear a second ending. Thanks to YouTuber Goji Rex, you can see what this might have sounded like. The T-Rex is a force of chaos instead of the hero, but her triumphant roar sounds the same in both versions. Now to conclude, here's a short list of some of the strange mistakes you can see in this scene. The skeletons are held up by wires, but most dinosaur skeletons are grounded to prevent accidents, which causes the Alamosaurus to do a little dance. You can't see any of the actors' faces because these are the obvious stunt doubles. Lex's stunt double falls off her bones only for the actress to appear right back on. Sattler falls off a tail section, only to have different types of bones fall on top of her. When she gets back up, the tail section is on the ground, and yet the tail section has moved to hanging above her head in the next few shots. And finally, the invisible raptor. There's one more thing I forgot. The scratches that the Queen of the Dinosaur gets from her fight with the raptors become scars as we see 20 years later in Jurassic World. If you're wondering if I love this movie, well, you can bet your ass. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to see what the alternate music for the ending might have sounded like, check out this video by Goji Rex. And if you want to see what the original ending of Jurassic Park might have looked like, then check out my other video where I take the original storyboard and add music and sound from the film. I'm the Geodude, and I dig for the truth.